money, fame, and success. On the outside, it looks like celebrities are living a perfect life. They earn more in a single year than most people do in a lifetime. But here's the reality: earning millions doesn't guarantee keeping it. In fact, some of the biggest celebrities in the world have lost entire fortunes, not because they weren't talented, but because of poor decisions, reckless lifestyles, and financial mismanagement. What makes these stories fascinating is the full journey: how they made their money, how they spent it, how they lost it, and what happened next. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the stupid ways famous celebrities lost their wealth, breaking down each story step by step, from peak success to rock bottom, and where they stand today. But before starting, please show some support by subscribing to my channel. Okay, let's go. Mike Tyson's rise to wealth was nothing short of explosive. He became the youngest heavyweight champion in boxing history at just 20 years old. During the late 80s and early 90s, Tyson wasn't just a boxer, he was a global icon. His fights generated massive pay-per-view sales, and he earned enormous purses for each match. Combined with endorsements and sponsorships, Tyson accumulated over $400 million throughout his career. With that kind of money came an equally extreme lifestyle. Tyson lived like a king, owning multiple mansions, luxury cars, and even exotic pets. One of his most famous indulgences was owning Bengal tigers, which cost a fortune not just to buy, but to maintain. He spent millions on jewelry, threw lavish parties, and constantly had a large entourage around him: friends, assistants, and hangers-on, all funded by him. But behind the scenes, things were unraveling. Tyson lacked financial discipline and relied heavily on advisors who allegedly mismanaged his wealth. He also faced serious legal troubles, including a prison sentence, which paused his income while his expenses continued. On top of that, he made impulsive purchases without thinking about long-term sustainability. Eventually, the money ran out. In 2003, Tyson filed for bankruptcy, reportedly $23 million in debt. It was shocking. How could someone who earned hundreds of millions end up broke? After losing his wealth, Tyson's life changed drastically. He went from living in luxury to struggling financially. However, instead of giving up, he began rebuilding. He took part in exhibition fights, launched a successful podcast, appeared in movies, and even entered the cannabis business. Today, Tyson is financially stable again and has reinvented his image as a calmer, wiser individual. While he may not be as wealthy as he once was, he's far from broke, and his story is now one of both downfall and redemption. Nicolas Cage made his fortune through Hollywood success. As one of the most in-demand actors of the late 90s and early 2000s, he starred in blockbuster films and earned massive salaries, sometimes $20 million per movie. Over time, his net worth climbed to over $150 million. With that level of wealth, Cage developed a reputation for spending unlike almost anyone else in Hollywood. He didn't just buy homes, he collected them. At one point, he owned around 15 properties, including luxury mansions, a private island, and even 2 medieval castles in Europe. But it didn't stop there. He spent money on rare artifacts, exotic cars, fine art, and even a dinosaur skull, which he later had to return after it was discovered to be illegally obtained. His lifestyle was extravagant, but the real issue was poor financial management. Cage reportedly failed to properly manage his taxes, leading to massive debts owed to the IRS. As his expenses piled up and his income slowed, the situation became unsustainable. Eventually, Cage was forced to sell off many of his prized possessions, including properties and collectibles, just to pay off his debts. After losing much of his wealth, Cage's career took a noticeable turn. He began accepting a high volume of film roles, many of which were low budget or critically unsuccessful, simply to generate income. However, this strategy worked in the long run. Today, Nicolas Cage has stabilized his finances and even made a strong comeback in Hollywood with critically acclaimed performances. While he may not live as extravagantly as before, he is far from broke and has regained respect in the industry. MC Hammer's wealth came from his massive success in the music industry during the early 90s. His album Please Hammer, Don't Hurt 'Em sold millions of copies, and his hit song You Can't Touch This became a global phenomenon. At his peak, Hammer's net worth reached around $70 million. But unlike most artists, Hammer didn't just enjoy his wealth, he expanded his lifestyle to an extreme level. He built a massive mansion reportedly worth over $10 million and filled his life with luxury. But the biggest financial mistake he made was employing a huge entourage. Hammer believed in lifting up those around him, so he hired friends, family, and associates, reportedly over 200 people. While this may have come from a good place, it created enormous financial pressure. His monthly expenses skyrocketed to over $1 million. When his music career slowed down, the income couldn't keep up with the lifestyle. Hammer continued spending at the same rate, quickly draining his fortune. In 1996, he filed for bankruptcy, with debts exceeding $10 million. After losing his wealth, Hammer had to completely change his life. He stepped away from the lavish lifestyle and explored new paths, including becoming a preacher and later getting involved in the tech industry. Today, MC Hammer is financially stable and respected for his reinvention. While he never returned to his peak wealth, he avoided long-term financial ruin and built a more sustainable life. Johnny Depp earned his fortune through decades of acting success, starring in blockbuster franchises and critically acclaimed films. Over time, he made hundreds of millions of dollars, becoming one of Hollywood's highest-paid actors. With that wealth came an incredibly extravagant lifestyle. Depp owned multiple luxury properties around the world, including private islands and estates. He traveled in private jets, collected rare art, and maintained a large staff. His spending reportedly reached over $2 million per month. Some of his expenses were truly unusual, like spending millions to shoot a friend's ashes out of a cannon. But the problem wasn't just the lifestyle, it was sustainability. Depp accused his financial managers of mismanaging his money, leading to a major legal dispute. However, reports also revealed that his own spending habits were far beyond reasonable limits. As financial pressures grew, Depp faced lawsuits and public scrutiny. After losing a significant portion of his wealth, his life became more complicated. His legal battles, both financial and personal, affected his career and public image. However, Depp didn't disappear. He continued working, especially in international films, and slowly began rebuilding his career. His recent legal victories have also helped restore his reputation. Today, Johnny Depp is still wealthy but more cautious. He continues acting and touring with his band, living a more controlled version of the life he once had. 50 Cent built his wealth through a combination of music and smart business moves. His debut album Get Rich or Die Tryin' was a massive success, and he quickly became one of the biggest names in hip-hop. But his real financial breakthrough came from his investment in Vitamin Water, which earned him tens of millions when the company was sold. At his peak, his net worth reached around $150 million. However, despite his business success, 50 Cent faced several setbacks. Declining music revenue, risky investments, and especially legal battles put a strain on his finances. One lawsuit resulted in a multi-million-dollar judgment against him. At the same time, he maintained a luxury lifestyle, with expensive homes and high spending. In 2015, he filed for bankruptcy. But unlike many others, 50 Cent used bankruptcy as a strategic move. After losing a portion of his wealth, he focused on rebuilding smarter. He shifted his attention to television production, creating successful shows like Power, which became a major hit. Today, 50 Cent is once again financially successful and respected as both an entertainer and entrepreneur. His story proves that losing money doesn't have to be the end, it can be a turning point. From Mike Tyson's reckless spending to Nicolas Cage's bizarre purchases, from MC Hammer's oversized lifestyle to Johnny Depp's extreme expenses and 50 Cent's legal battles, each story highlights a different path to financial downfall. So now the question is, if you had millions, what would you do with it? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more videos like this one. Take care and see you in the next one.